pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Jeff Renahan, 1st Ward. Bill Carlos, 2nd Ward. Joseph Lepore, 5th Ward.
Ann Churchson, 6th Ward.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
John Basley, Supervisor for the Town. Jim Nelson will be returning shortly. With that said, we have 2 public hearings tonight. Before we start the public hearings, just like to comment, driving through the town yesterday during the storm, after the storm, and today, I'd like to say I think our town highway department and the state and the county have done a phenomenal job with all they were up against. I'd like to, a public thanks to them all for what they've done, and listen to all the councilmen, the compliments they got from all the different wards. Again, thanks for what you've done. Hopefully you get some rest in the next couple of days. And with that said, we have 2 public hearings tonight. The first one is on historic designation of a property on Channingborough Road known as Tangletop. I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody here to discuss Tangletop on Channingborough Road? Mr. Pena.
Good evening, everyone. John Pena, town historian. I'm recommending that Tangletop be considered as a landmark for the town. It has not only historic significance because of the architecture, but you have John Lennox, who was a historic figure, very much involved in developing the New York Public Library in New York City. And you have Congressman John Thompson, who was a significant figure to turn the century. He was really a great orator. He was called upon to talk at many important events, one of them being, for example, the opening of the Rural Cemetery here in Poughkeepsie and in other places around the country. So it not only has architectural historical value, but it also has 2 people that are historic figures who lived right here in the town of Poughkeepsie and made a difference not only locally but nationally and with the library system in New York City. So I think it's a really significant piece of property to maintain for the future.
Mm-hmm. And also, I'd just like to add that the owner did approach us for this designation, and he's very much in favor of it.
And he's also thinking about going to the state and trying to get a state historic landmark status, which could open up grants to help him restore and maintain the property. Thank you.
Thanks. Would anybody else like to discuss this public hearing? If not, make a motion to close public hearing.
Second. Joe Conti, 3rd Ward, by the way. Sorry I'm late.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Jeff?
Okay. Whereas the Historic Preservation Commission of the Town of Poughkeepsie has made a recommendation to the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie for the designation as a landmark of property known as Tangletop and located at 70 Channonville Road, Wabenders Falls, New York, grid number 605804945130. And whereas pursuant to Chapter 126 of the Code of the Town of Poughkeepsie, a public hearing was held on March 15, 2017 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Overrock Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, concerning such designation. Public notice being given for said hearing and all interested parties having an opportunity to be heard, and whereas that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on February 27, 2017 and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on March 2, 2017, and whereas said action is a Type 2 action pursuant to New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, such that no further environmental review is necessary, now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie hereby designates Tangletop a distinctive Gothic Revival style home located on Channonville Road to be a historic landmark subject to all applicable rules and regulations found in Chapter 126 of the Code of the Town of Poughkeepsie, and be it further resolved that the Town Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to give the appropriate notification as required by the Town Code. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Got any questions or concerns or comments on that one? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Come to our second public hearing, which is to amend the stop signs and make them permanent on Over Rocker Road. They're the signs we put up during the bridge project that crossed the rail trail. And after talking to the councilman there, it was his recommendation and going to the police department to keep those signs there for the safety of the walkers going across the trail. So with that, do we have a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody here to discuss the public hearing on Over Rocker Road in reference to keeping the stop signs? If not, do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll second.
Second.
Favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2, be it enacted that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie, pursuant to a public hearing held on the 15th day of March 2017 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rock Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby amend Town Code Chapter 195 entitled Vehicle and Traffic, specifically Section 195 Sub 44, Schedule 9, Stop Intersections, which amendment would delete the following underscored language to 195 Section 44, Schedule 9, Stop Intersections, specifically as followed. Stop sign on, Over Rocker Road, direction of travel, both, at intersection with Dutchess Rail Trail. And this is the part that's crossed, effective until receipt of the Dutchess County Department of Public Works confirmation that the Garmo Road Bridge construction has been completed. And be it further enacted that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on February 27th, 2017, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on March 2nd, 2017, and be it further enacted that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does determine that this is a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review, and be it further enacted that said local law shall become effective immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, concerns on this one?
I'm just going to reiterate what I said before. I do believe that it is in the best interests of public safety for it, and I appreciate everyone's approval on it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. That comes to the end of our public hearing. We have a rather long agenda tonight, but not a lot of items, but I don't think a lot of them will have much to talk about. The first one, we have a presentation from Lamb Development, and we have clerk to advertise a bid for sanitary sewer pipe cleaning and inspections. 3, set a date for public hearings on rewording some signs in the Hamburg. Supporting a product stewardship program for a statewide paint collection system. Approve Marist College fireworks, Vassar College fireworks. Retirement from the police department is Steve Leung. Resignation of police officer Ahmed Batawi. Grant from State Homeland Security for a K-9 explosive detection team vehicle. A maintenance agreement with Gen Plus for a police department generator. Proclaiming May as Mental Health Awareness Month. Adopt the Dutchess County Hazardous Mitigation Plan. Accept the Vassar College easement. And appoint and reappoint people of the Town Historical Preservation Commission, Lydia Higginson, Colleen McCarthy, and Adam Adams. Authorize tax cert for settlement for Stop and Shop. Authorize the Rinaldi Flea Market. And authorize Stop DWI agreement patrols. And notification has been filed legal. Subrogation claim Geico versus Uter versus the town. With that said, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for public comment on any item on the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on any item that is on the agenda? Come on up.
Good evening, Town Supervisor Beasley and the board. My name is Tina Lee. I'm the Executive Director for the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI Mid-Hudson chapter. NAMI is one of the largest grassroots mental health advocacy groups dedicated to bettering the lives of 1 in 4 Americans and 1 in 5 children that are affected by mental illness. We advocate for access to services, treatments, and supports, and we are steadfast in our commitment to raising awareness for all those in need at the local, state, and federal levels. For over 45 years, NAMI Mid-Hudson has offered free educational classes and supports for families and individuals in Dutchess and Ulster counties, and we provide mental health literacy programs for students and educators, and also for veteran families. NAMI Mid-Hudson is also involved with a crisis intervention training in Dutchess County, which is an extra 40 hours of mental health training for law enforcement, and we continue to support mental wellness in our community. For more information on our programs, you can visit our website, which is www.namimidhudson.org. Since 1949, May has been designated as Mental Health Awareness Month, and for the last 4 years, NAMI Mid-Hudson has spearheaded an awareness campaign during May. We've tied over 800 NAMI ribbons. Sorry, I left the ribbon back in the chair, but I'm sure everybody's seen it. It's white, from Millerton to Ellenville, New York. The ribbons are made in America, and they're eco-safe and recyclable. This is an awareness campaign, and it's part of NAMI's community outreach and education to dispel the stigma of mental illness and promote awareness in a direct and visible manner. By doing so, NAMI hopes to let individuals and families know that they are not alone. And by increasing our mental health literacy and understanding and knowledge about mental illness, we replace stigma and judgment with recognition and understanding. This is also time that we ask the community to offer the support and compassion for families and individuals living with mental health conditions, and to remind the community that without our mental health, we have no health. This campaign has brought the issue of mental illness in our communities to the forefront. Many people suffering from mental illness do not seek help because they're afraid of the stigma affected by mental illness. People typically wait 8 to 10 years before they seek help. 50% of youth ages 8 to 15 are not provided mental health treatments, and suicide is the second leading cause of death among our youth. Mental illness is a credible illness, just like any other physical illness like heart disease or diabetes, and in fact, 90% of mental health conditions are treatable. This campaign supports early intervention and addresses self-medication with drug and alcohol abuse, and even acts as a deterrent to suicide. NAMI is that one step before suicide. For the last 4 years, the towns of Poughkeepsie, Dover, Wingdale, LaGrange, the villages of Ellenville, Millerton, Fishkill, New Paltz, and the city of Beacon have tied ribbons on their main streets. This year, the city of Poughkeepsie is also joining us in supporting mental wellness. Several schools such as Arlington, Beacon, Royce, Ketchum, Spackingkill, Dover, and Highland schools, and Dutchess Community College have also participated in our campaign, with many other mental health and behavioral health mental health organizations. This initiative also supports our county executive, Marcus Molinaro's initiatives. At his recent county address, he states, We will invest in our kids to provide services for veterans and seniors to grow our mental health system, to help individuals through Dutchess County live successful, independent, and productive lives. On behalf of NAMI Mid-Hudson, we respectfully ask the town of Poughkeepsie to proclaim May as Mental Health Awareness Month and participate in our 2017 NAMI Ribbon Campaign again. We would like to tie around 30 NAMI ribbons on the walking path in the town of Poughkeepsie near Wilbur Boulevard. And our volunteers will put the ribbons up near May 1st and remove the ribbons no later than June 1st. And we also have our awareness stigma, Stomp Out the Stigma walk on June 3rd that we hope that all of you will attend. We know that investing in healthy minds gives us a healthy community. Thank you very much for your time.
No, thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to, John?
I just want to take a moment and speak about Lydia Higginson. She comes to us with not only background in history, but also has a marketing background, has been involved in business, tourism. And so one of the things we're trying to do on the commission is bring people with a variety of expertise, not just historical background, because I think we could, by having different people with business background, tourism, and so forth, it really helps us to market the landmarks that we have in town, also to preserve those in the future. And Lydia comes with a whole new set of expertise, and that's why I'm bringing her forth as a new member for the commission.
John, thanks for reaching out and doing that for us. Does anybody else like to discuss anything on the agenda for tonight? After we have a motion to resume the rules?
I'll second.
Yeah, I'd like to ask the board if we'll move number 13 up to next.
I'll second that.
Favor?
Aye.
Whereas mental health is essential to the well-being and vitality of our families, businesses, and communities, and whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, with 1 out of 4 Americans and 1 out of 5 children affected by mental illness, and whereas more people die from suicide in the United States than from traffic accidents, and an estimated 22 veterans die from suicide each day. Whereas stigma and fear of discrimination keep many who would benefit from mental health services from seeking help. And whereas education, compassion, and awareness about mental health illnesses can change negative attitudes and behaviors toward people with mental illness. And whereas each business, school, government agency, law enforcement agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shares responsibility to promote mental health, wellness, and support prevention efforts, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie, on behalf of the Town of Poughkeepsie, does hereby proclaim the month of May 2017 as Mental Health Awareness Month. And be it further resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie also calls upon all Town of Poughkeepsie residents, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental illnesses, reducing stigma and discrimination, and promoting appropriate and accessible services for all the individuals. And be it further resolved, the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness, NAMI, Mid-Hudson, is hereby authorized by the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie to tie ribbons on the walking path along Wilbur Boulevard in the Town of Poughkeepsie and at the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Hall. So moved.
Second?
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. And we have a proclamation here for NAMI. Whereas mental health is essential to the well-being and the vitality of our families, businesses, and communities, whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, 1 out of 4 and 1 out of 5 children are affected by mental illness, whereas more people die from suicide in the United States than from traffic accidents, and an estimated 22 veterans die from suicide each day, whereas stigma and fear of discrimination keep many who would benefit from mental health services from seeking help, whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. And whereas education, compassion, and awareness about mental health illnesses can change negative attitudes and behaviors toward people with mental illnesses. Whereas each school, business, government agency, law enforcement agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizens share responsibility to promote mental health, wellness, and support prevention efforts. Now therefore, I, John Bailey, Supervisor, Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2017 as Mental Health Awareness Month. As a supervisor, I also call upon Town of Poughkeepsie citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health illnesses, reducing stigma and discrimination, and promoting appropriate and accessible service for all individuals in need. Thank you. From the town.
Thank you.
Presentation from Mr. Lieberman on land. Jason, come on up. Jason's going to discuss, first of all, our energy this year is due up in June, so we're looking at different avenues and different ways to save money on our energy.
Same one?
Different.
No, it's different. Yeah.
Oh, totally different.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I remember that one.
This has got new information in it.
This is just an update from the first one he sent. And as I was saying, our contract with our current provider is up in June. So this is just one of the options that we could have to look forward to start looking for June at what we could do. So yours, Jason.
Yeah, sure. I just want to thank the town board for giving me the opportunity to present and speak tonight. I do really appreciate it. I'm here representing LAM Development. We're a solar development company. We build, obviously, solar farms, and we take the power that we produce and we provide it to end users. So we match the actual power with the consumer. And so what that allows us to do is offer the most competitive electrical prices that I believe are attainable. additionally, government subsidies don't hurt from the federal and state level. So, if you don't mind, I'd just like to briefly walk you guys through the presentation I prepared today. So, what our company does is through the solar programs Governor Cuomo enacted last year through the Clean Energy Standard, Reforming the Energy Vision. We are able to build these solar energy facilities at a very low cost and provide, therefore, the energy to you at a very low cost. So on page 7, I'd say that's the first page of material consequence. The cost of supply. So here you can see the trailing 12-month Central Hudson price for supply, and directly contrasted with Direct Energy's offer for supply of 5.5 cents, which is information I spoke with Jay about, current other bids. So I knew, I just had a framework of whether or not I could or could not beat that price. I know what I can and can't provide, and so obviously I provide the cheapest power I can. Here you'll see solar, and the difference between the two options, not notional discount and fixed escalator, are just the way the pricing works, the way in which you purchase the solar power. But as you can see, both are significantly cheaper than Direct Energy or any other electric service company or ESCO can provide for that matter. So on page 8, it's essentially the same information displayed in just relative fashion. So you would see that by opting into the fixed escalator structure, you would save roughly 30% off your supply over the course of the contract. 20% from the notional discount model, and Direct Energy's offer is to save 10%. And obviously Central Hudson is the Central Hudson rate, which is the benchmark, so there's no savings off of its own rate. The next couple pages just go through the actual fiscal amounts to be saved by the town. We've reviewed all of the municipal consumption the town of Poughkeepsie has, excluding the tri-municipal wastewater facility, where there are additional savings to be had. So just on the municipal consumption alone, in the notional discount model, there would be savings of $53,000 a year, and over the term of the contract on page 11, you can see that there would be savings of $1.35 million, and that translates to 20.85% savings, which is how we got to that number. And then there's just a consequent table outlining the discount every year. So you can see that it's the discount's linear. It's a fixed discount to the utility rate. So the utility rate fluctuates, but you're always paying less, and there's some surety in that. So, I mean, that's absolutely guaranteed, but there's some comfort there. The fixed escalator model, which is page 13 and 14, starts on page 14, is a pricing model where we peg the first year's rate. Peg the first year's rate to the current utility price, and then for the term of the contract, we escalate that price at 0.75%, whereas the utility price for supply over the past 35 years has increased at 2%. So you'll see that most of the savings are on the back end of the term of the contract. And so if you go to page 15, you would see that over the course of this contract, the town would save roughly $1.92 million, which is roughly 30% savings. On the fixed escalator savings table on page 16, what can be seen is how the savings per year grows exponentially. So that's almost why it looks like half a U. It's because in the last 3 years you're saving over $150,000 plus per year, and that is pretty much what we do. That's pretty much the offer we extend. Differentiators between us and other solar developers such as Borrego or Solar City are that we have lower overhead, which is one benefit and one reason why we're able to provide power at a cheaper rate. We have a lower cost of capital, and we're also more risk-seeking, so we can deliver the power faster than any other solar provider can. We extend ourselves on the land acquisition side and spend money on that front before we've matched it with demand, whereas at least my attorneys told me, they haven't found anyone else who's willing to do that. So they thought I was a little crazy, but, it's not always a bad thing. So, yeah. That's pretty much.
Do we purchase the solar panels?
No.
Jason, try to explain to them how that part works. I was talking to some of them about that earlier.
Okay, absolutely. So there is there's nothing required from the town. No upfront capital, no ownership. Essentially, all you are purchasing is the power. And we build the facility, we site the facility, we own the facility, we maintain the facility. We just provide the power to the town at these heavily discounted rates. We're able to do so because of certain proprietary processes we have in siting of the land, which leads to lower costs for us. And again, it gets back to the same lower overhead and lower cost of capital for us as a company.
Now, you tend to create more energy than what we need, so you're selling that other energy, correct?
So specifically for the town, we are working with other towns in Dutchess County, villages. The town of Poughkeepsie would be large enough for just about 2.25 facilities. So there would be 2 facilities built that would be exclusively for, or the power there would be exclusively for the town of Poughkeepsie. The last facility would be, a quarter of its power would be allocated to the town of Poughkeepsie, and the other 3/4 can be allocated in any manner. The village of Wappinger Falls, or the town of Pleasant Valley, or the town of Unionvale, or the town of Northeast, or whomever.
I mean, are we passing these savings on to our schools and our fire and police districts as well?
Yes, that's where these savings are coming from. So all of the accounts, all of the municipal consumption, that includes sewage, rec centers, fire departments, police centers, those are what comprise the annual bill that we, broke down per account. So it's all the municipal consumption, excluding the tri-municipal wastewater.
Am I correct, Jason, that the farms don't have to be built in the town either?
That is also correct.
They don't have to be built here?
No.
They could be built somewhere else?
The way the PSC has created the regulations for these programs is that as long as these solar panels are sited somewhere within central Hudson's territory, the town of Poughkeepsie can be the recipient of that power. It's not point A to point B. It just goes into the grid, and then there's a contract that matches us. So we are siting projects in Ulster County, Greene County, Hyde Park. We have lots of different land sites, none of which are in the town of Poughkeepsie. We only operate and build facilities in municipalities that have passed a local law. We don't like to, stir the pot. We don't want to have to get a special use permit or a zoning variance. So to avoid that, we look for and go to towns that a local law governing solar development has already been established.
What towns or villages have you actually done this with?
There have been none, but we have done private business to business.
You've not done any other government entity, town, village, or city?
No, just business to business.
How old is the company?
Roughly 1 year. So we have built facilities before to supply power to ourselves. My family has been working in Dutchess County for roughly 50 years. We own multifamily residential apartment complexes in Rhinebeck and in Fishkill, and a facility is built to supply ourselves the same type of strategy with power. So we could receive discounted rates for power for our own tenants, making our multifamily residential apartment complexes more attractive relative to others. So, we've been meeting with town boards, various town boards, and we're in the process of executing agreements. But I'm sure, as you know, it's a bureaucratic process. And so, we are moving along that process, but, we like to work with the municipalities and incorporate their concerns to the greatest extent possible and not really, ram anything down anyone's throat.
Now, you'd mentioned that the governor gives deductions and rebates and whatnot, subsidies.
Yeah.
Should those subsidies usually run out at a certain point? You're locking in the prices?
I am locking in the prices, yes. The biggest subsidy that drives the economic feasibility of these projects is a federal subsidy. It's a 30% investment tax credit. So if you spend, each one of these projects costs $5 million to build, and we get back 30% of that in a tax credit. And that's set to expire in January 1st, 2020 on a gradient of 10% a year. But we have modeled this all out, and we know what we can provide power for to our partners and to those who have demand.
Now, this contract, is this 25 years, or is there different lengths of contract?
It's 25 years. And the reason for that is that it matches the useful life of the facility.
No.
Yeah, sure.
As you know, solar companies come out every other day.
Right.
What makes you different than Solar City or other companies that?
Yeah.
And you also said your company, it's only a year old.
It's about 1 year.
And are you willing to give us the names of clients that you have at the present time? Because as you know, experience in the solar business, it means a lot. There's a lot of regulations and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, we have a great team. It's a team of about 10 people at this point. MIT, Columbia, Harvard, all really smart, driven, hardworking guys. And we have engineers in house. We have marketing. We have a research analyst. We have kind of generalists. And the sole client, and the impetus for this was I was working at an investment bank in the renewable energy group, and I wrote a research piece on the state of the New York market, solar market, and I saw an opportunity and wanted to capitalize it, so I went out and started this business. And so I started with developing a solar facility for my family's apartment complexes, going through that process.
How many panels do you have at the complex?
7,800. That's how many go in every single facility.
Is it on the property?
I'm sorry, what?
Are they on the property, there's 700 panels?
No, it's at NTP. So notice to proceed, it means that it's construction ready.
Okay.
So,
So that is also feeding into the grid then?
yes, exactly.
Okay, so that means your supply is very stable. So what happens if you happen to go down, or we have really gray days and you're not generating electricity? Then what happens?
So there's a minimum output requirement in the contract that we have to meet. Otherwise, we would be in default. So you know that there is an absolute minimum amount of output that we will be providing. It's in our interest to make sure that we provide you guys with the absolute maximum amount of power that we can. I mean, that's how we make money, and so we would never let there or want there. It's not economically feasible for us to allow there to be a situation where we're not meeting your demand needs. If demand were to increase in the town, we would likewise supply that demand.
And the town of Poughkeepsie meets your
Yeah.
expectation and demands for this town?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
And my question, how do you make money?
that's a good question. So it's we make money pursuant to the PSC regulations that govern what the utilities have to pay us for putting the power into the grid. So we pay a slightly cheaper rate than what we sell to you for.
So you sell it back to other providers as well?
No, we don't. We just sell directly to end users. And that's
Have you done this anywhere else?
just the one project.
Nowhere.
I mean, I've been involved at the investment bank
I understand
in
that,
many
and
projects.
your presentation is very good. But
Thank you.
for the town to commit to something like this, there has to be some kind of history here.
Yeah,
Where we can call another municipality or a mayor or a town supervisor
I
and
am
ask them how
driving
it's
with
going.
Matt Alexander tomorrow to Albany to discuss Mount Alvernia.
Well, I guess is making a presentation, is making a sales pitch. So he's introducing his company, which I like to know more about your company.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's
One of the things to consider is, the limited track record. But I am 100% confident that there will not be a problem in delivering the power. And in the construction of the facilities is extremely simple. I know all of the guys that work in the distributed generation team at Central Hudson by first name. I was just at their solar summit last Friday. We have a very close relationship. They've been nothing but accommodating to us, whereas others complain about having to work with the utility. I enjoy it. It's just kind of how our company is, our corporate culture, resonates.
And if you would have got, let's say, town of Poughkeepsie, where would you build your facility? Is that an outdoor facility, indoor facility?
Outdoor facility.
Outdoor facility.
Every facility, the panels themselves take up somewhere between 8 to 10 acres, depending on the topography of the land. So how densely we can site them. And then another 3 to 4 acres is needed to just kind of build a buffer and landscape around it, so it's not an imposition on anyone.
And, I read this the other day that farmers are getting $1,000 and more per acre for solar farms.
We get more.
So again, my question to you is, and I know you're just starting, how do you make money?
No, I understand. You mean like right now, or like we're in the red right now? We're privately funded.
Okay.
But how we make money, the business model, is that we sell power directly to end users, and the win-win is that we are able to provide that power for a cheaper rate, a lower rate. Part of what comes with the territory of working with a company that's a little more nascent, and at the same time, Yeah.
I have one more question, if I may.
Yeah, as many as you want.
Say that you'll find a facility for town of Poughkeepsie, say.
Yeah, we have many.
So do you get the land first, and then?
That's why what my attorneys told me I was crazy. So we have hundreds of land sites across the state. We work across the state. So I was actually in Greece, New York last week, and then I went to the village of Holly, where they're a municipal electric utility. I'm working with the New York.
Plenty of land back there.
There's a lot of land back there, yeah. They don't pay too much for supply, but we're working statewide, and we have hundreds of parcels, and essentially any of those parcels that are within Central Hudson's jurisdiction are eligible to be utilized as power providing sources for the town of Poughkeepsie.
And the reason we brought Jason here tonight was, as I said, our contract is up in June. And this is just one option. And he said, and we all know Jeff wasn't here at the time, but we've had other companies come in with different pitches. And one of the biggest issues is, and Bill brought it right up, is they all come in, but this is their first project. So this is just something to take home, look at it, you have questions, call Jason, because we're going to have other presentations coming along as we get closer to our date in June. But Jason's come up to see us 3 or 4 times. He's been working with the town of Wappingers and Village of Wappingers and some other towns. He's been down discussing tri-community and different things to try to bring it to fruition, one of us. But figure instead of it, constantly just talking to him, it was time to let him present it to the board to get an avenue of what we all think about, so he's not just turning his wheel. If it's something we're not interested in, we can let him know in a week or two, and if it's something we are interested in, he can move forward to talk to us further, but I figured it was time to at least let him come in and address the board and go forward with what we think is right.
I appreciate it, Joe.
And this is your office, and this is your car, right? This is where your office is? Thank you very much. Thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you guys for the time. I appreciate it very much.
Jason, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Ready for 4?
Yep.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the town clerk to advertise for bids for sanitary sewer pipe cleaning and CCTV inspections 2017 pursuant to plans and specifications prepared, which plans and specifications will be available on March 20th, 2017 in the office of the town clerk, with a bid opening to be held on April 12th, 2017 at 11 a.m. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reserve the right to accept or reject all bids in whole or part. And be it further resolved that the town board does hereby determine that this action is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this one? This is just Franco's going through the whole process of doing all our sanitary sewer lines pursuant to some of our DEC consent orders. So we're just going through the process so he knows where all his infiltration is. We're trying to clean out some of the I&I. So it'll help Arlington and try meeting all them from all the inflow coming in during the storms. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved, Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 5th day of April 2017 at 7 p.m. Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as for the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider amendments to Town Code Chapter 195 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, specifically 195-44 Schedule 9 Stop Intersections, which amendments would be as follows, with underlined language added and bracketed language deleted. Repeal 195-44 Schedule 9 Stop Intersections, stop sign on Main Street, New Hamburg, direction of travel both at intersection Reed Road. Add 195-44 Schedule 9 Stop Intersections, stop sign on Main Street, New Hamburg, direction of travel north at intersection of Reed Road. Reed Road east at the intersection of Main Street in New Hamburg. Cheneyville Road stop sign, direction of travel south at the intersection of Reed Road. And be it further resolved that the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does determine this is a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review. And be it further resolved that if adopted, said local law become effective upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this one? All this is Cheneyville, Maine, and Reed Road. It originally said Maine and Maine. All it is a one-word correction. The signs are staying. Nothing should be changed. It's just to fix one word. That's all it is it was said Maine instead of Cheneyville. With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Whereas there's an estimated close to 4 million gallons of leftover paint generated in New York each year, which will cost $31 million for local government to properly manage, and whereas management of leftover paint in New York results in costs that typically represents 50% of municipal household hazards waste budgets, although not all paint is properly managed, and whereas a statewide paint stewardship program will mean that the paint industry will be responsible for collecting and managing leftover paint in New York, whereas the American Coating Association, a trade association representing 95% of paint manufacturers from across the United States, has created Paint Care, a non-profit program to manage the reuse, recycling, and disposal of leftover paint. And whereas the District of Columbia and 8 other states, including Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont, and Maine, have passed legislation implementing paint recovery programs managed by Paint Care, saving local municipalities $69 million while successfully recycling 17 million gallons of paint since 2010 as part of a household hazards waste collection program. And whereas in addition,
to reduce government costs, a paint stewardship program will continue adding green sector jobs to the over 200 already created across state. The paint stewardship legislation, reduce waste and encourage the public to purchase the right amount of paint for a job. And whereas the town of Poughkeepsie, therefore, wishes to express its support for a statewide paint collection system. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Poughkeepsie hereby urges the New York State Legislature to enact A 1038, named as S881, which has almost 60 co-sponsors to relieve municipalities and taxpayers from financial burden of collection and managing leftover paint in New York. This resolution shall take effect immediately. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one?
Well, this is a really good idea.
Yeah, I should take lessons for this because I
I
was
think it's
buying
going to go something along the oil program they put in place years ago. You know.
Yeah.
So instead of just dumping it in the waste, this was Jeff's idea to bring this to head.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Oh, whereas the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie has heretofore received an application from Mayor's College to include a fireworks display at its Riverfest event to be held on Friday, April 28th, 2017, with a rain date to be determined, and whereas the applicant has notified the Fairview Fire District, and whereas a certificate of liability insurance has been filed with the town clerk, naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application as submitted for fireworks display to be held on Friday, April 28th, 2017, at 9 p.m. at Mayor's College Riverfront Property, 3399 North Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, concerns on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Whereas the town board of town of Poughkeepsie has heretofore received an application from Vassar College to include a fireworks display at its college reunion weekend event to be held on Friday, June 9, 2017, with a rain date to be Saturday, June 10, 2017. Whereas the applicant has notified the Arlington Fire District, and be it further resolved, the town board of town of Poughkeepsie is hereby approved the application for said fireworks display to be held on Friday, June 9, 2017, with a rain date of June 10, 2017, 9 p.m. in Vassar College, Sunset Lake property, 124 Raymond Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York, as submitted, pending receipt of certificate of liability insurance, naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regrets the retirement of Steve Lewing, police officer of the town of Poughkeepsie Police Department, effective April 7th, 2017. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second on this. Any questions or comments on this?
We were lucky enough to get Officer Lang from NYPD, where he'd served in the vice squad in addition to the patrol. Since he's with us, he's done a lot for us, including the school resource officer down at the Spag Hill High School. He served as our state-certified general topics instructor, and he lives in my ward. And he's a very good young man.
Very good.
And as much as I always hate to lose any of our people at all, I wish him well in his new endeavors.
No, I agree. I'd like to thank him for his years of service. I mean, he was one of those ones which I have to say is probably a good percent of our department that when you go and you need him, you need help from, he always had a great disposition. It was never like interruption. He was really a good gentleman to work with all the years that he was here.
I concur. He's been great to work with over the years. I didn't think he was old enough to retire.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Good luck on your retirement.
Resolution 10. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regret the resignation of Ahmed Bitwa police officer with the Town of Poughkeepsie Police Department, effective March 12th, 2017, at 11:59 p.m. So moved.
Second.
We have motion second. Any questions or comments on that one?
This police officer is leaving us, going to Westchester County Department of Public Safety. He's an asset to the department, and it's this kind of leaving that causes the problem for us in terms of staffing. I do appreciate he can go and make himself a better place. That's fine for him. And I congratulate him on his leaving, to our detriment.
I wish him all the luck in the world. Also, but we still have him as a town resident. He lives in the town and he's staying in the town, so we still have the benefit of having him here and thinking he must think pretty highly to stay with the town.
Yep.
I wish Officer Batali a good career. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor or his designee to execute all papers necessary and proper to effectuate the acceptance of a U.S. Department of Homeland Security Program grant award in the amount of $15,000, which funds will be used by the town of Poughkeepsie Police Department to purchase equipment needed to deploy the K-9 Explosive Detection Team Vehicle, as outlined in the attached memo from Ronald J. Sparrow, Jr., Chief of Police. So moved.
Second.
The motion second. Any questions on this one?
This is a good thing. It's a great.
Yeah, I just like to make a comment. I mean, being in this seat for 9 months, it's a pleasure because we have a police department that reaches out and they really are diehard at trying to save the town money. If you look at the amount of grant money we've gotten in the last couple of years, this is really an effort on behalf of the chief that his staff actually pushes, follows through to the last step, and makes sure. And if they don't get it, they retry and retry. And they've done a phenomenal job, I think, in the last year of getting the money. It's been a pleasure working on every grant. And our grant writers jumped on board with trying to help them because a lot of times they've been on their own. So he's trying to help them through some so they can do some of the other things. But it's definitely a blessing to the town to have the crew that he has over here that's willing to grab hold of these grants and put their effort forth to get them.
Absolutely.
And in addition, if we talk about some donation that some of the town of Poughkeepsie residents gave it to the police department as well. So good.
They're well liked.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved, the town board, town of Poughkeepsie, does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign a maintenance agreement with Gen Plus Incorporated for the town of Poughkeepsie Police Department's generator for the 2017 calendar year at the annual cost of $562.50, which was the lowest bid. And be it further resolved, town board finds that this is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second. The motion second. Any questions on this one? Nope, except back what we said is they fought for the best price again. It just goes to show you they're watching every dime that they're spending over there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution 14, whereas the town of Poughkeepsie has worked cooperatively with the Dutchess County with the assistance of Tetra Tech Incorporated in gathering information and preparing the Dutchess County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan Municipal Annex, the plan, a copy on which is found electronically at www.dutchessmitigation.net. And whereas the Dutchess County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan has been prepared in accordance with Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, and whereas the Dutchess County and the town of Poughkeepsie are units of government that will afford the citizens an opportunity to comment and provide input on the plan and the potential action under the plan. And whereas the Dutchess County and the town of Poughkeepsie have reviewed the plan, and the town of Poughkeepsie affirms that the plan will be updated no less than every 5 years. And now, therefore, be resolved, the town of Poughkeepsie Town Board approves and adopts an attached Dutchess County Hazard Mitigation Plan, Municipal Annex, as the town's Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan, and resolves to act consistent with the plan. So moved.
Second.
We have motion second. Any questions on this one? This is basically helps us get grant money and federal funding. Tom Wyachek has been spearheading this through the building department, working with all the water, sewer, and highway on targeting problem areas. So this should just help with grant money if we do have a storm or anything, and it goes to the county. And Tom's watching to make sure it's updated from time to time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the drainage easement from Vassar College, 124 Raymond Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York, to the town of Poughkeepsie, copies of which are attached, and be further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to record the easement and any supporting recording documents in the Dutchess County Clerk's office. So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, this is one of mine. This is actually for the end of Fulton Court. Yeah, it's got to be Fulton Court. And the problem is that there's kind of a low area there, and of course Fulton Avenue is much higher above it. And they've been having a problem with flooding, especially when we get these superstorms. There's a huge puddle that forms there, and during the wet summers, it stays there all summer long. And they did put a dry well at the end, but it just gets overwhelmed too quickly. So now they're actually going to run drainage through the property behind it to College Avenue, and that whole section's owned by Vassar College. So it's a win for both of us, and I appreciate Vassar giving us the easement for $1. So it's going to help move this project along.
It's been going on for a couple of years, so
Yeah,
thanks for all that they did, the work with Mark and stuff, getting this accomplished.
yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Be it resolved, the town board of town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Lydia Higginson to the unexpired term of Christine Argo on the Historic Preservation Commission through December 31st, 2019. So moved.
Second?
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Welcome aboard.
Be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reappoint Colleen McCarthy to Historic Preservation Commission for a 5-year term, which term is April 20th, 2017 through April 19th, 2022, pursuant to the recommendation of the town historian. So moved.
Second?
Motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reappoint Annan Adams to the Historic Preservation Commission for a 5-year term, which term is April 20th, 2017 through April 19th, 2022, pursuant to the recommendation of the town historian. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this? All I want to say is I thank John for the effort you put into getting the group to be on this commission, because watching the work on the last project of Cupolas was a phenomenal job, and they really, the input and just the teamwork and effort that your crew puts into what they do is phenomenal to watch them do it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the settlement of the tax certiorari proceedings instituted by Stop and Shop for the tax assessment rolls for 2012 to 2015, as shown in the attached consent judgment and stipulation of discontinuance. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor or his designee, town assessor, and Kyle Barnett of Vanderwater and Vanderwater LLP to sign such papers as are necessary to effectuate said settlement. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Whereas the town board, town of Poughkeepsie, has heretofore received an application from O'Malley Flea Market to hold a flea market from April 2017 through October 2017 to be held at 900 Dutchess Turnpike, Poughkeepsie, New York, owned by Poughkeepsie Business Park 2, and be it resolved, town board, town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application as submitted, contingent upon the town first receiving the applicable fees and a certificate of liability insurance naming the town as an additional insurer. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions on this one?
Joe, this has been working out well for you?
It sure has been. You know, I was just about to say, you remember years ago we tried it, unfortunately, when Bill Rinaldi was alive. We tried that, and we were nervous about if there would be any counterfeiting and things of that nature, and it's proven it to be quite well. It's a place that people like to go, so it's worked out well.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved that town board, town of Poughkeepsie does hereby ratify supervisor's execution of the 2017 Stop DWI program agreement, DWI OT patrols with the County of Dutchess, a copy of which is attached. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this one?
This is after St. Patrick's Day, though, right? No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, it's a very big joke. You remember those days, and I'm glad to see that the town's working on trying to minimize DWIs.
Yeah. This has dropped down money-wise a little bit, but not much, but we'll still do what we can with what we have.
I'll be staying home.
Okay.
St. Patrick's Day.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
And number 20 is a notice of claim being referred to legal.
We've come to the end of our agenda for the evening. I'd like to make a motion to suspend rules for the item relating to town business or any other business and ask anybody who speaks to please try to keep it to 3 minutes. All those second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody come on up, John. Anybody like to speak on any business at all? Come on.
I just wanted to make the board aware that as the Preservation Commission is part of the certified local government that we are part of, two things that I'm responsible for, in addition to other things, is putting in an annual report to the state about our certified local government, which has been submitted, so we'll wait and see what they have to say. The second thing is I'm working on a in-service program at the present time for April 24th for the Preservation Commission. And one of the topics that we're going to be discussing will be how do we use public buildings and commercial buildings in terms of landmarks and how they can be reused in a town in terms of businesses or other ways of reuse. The in-service will be done by the SHPO through the state. They come down and provide the in-service free of charge. They'll spend an entire day with us. We'll probably go like 9 to 3. I'm also going to inviting you'll get an invite to participate, and I'm also going to invite the planning board because I really think that what we're trying to do is preserve our history, but we also need to be sensitive to the viability of not only preserving the history, but making it viable for the town in terms of business and advancement. And I think if we pull people together to work together, I think we can do a much better job at the preservation piece and keeping the history alive. So I just want to make you aware of that, and thank you for all your support. I appreciate it.
John, is the zoning as well be invited?
We can invite them.
I'd like to
we can invite them. That's not a bad idea. No.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to address the board at this time? Any items? Sir, come on up.
Basically, honourable board members, my name's Ted Lestrange, address 6 Jeffrey Court, Otisville, New York. This is not good news, but fortunately it doesn't relate to the town of Poughkeepsie. Genocide by Scalpel is a title given by one of the investigators into forced organ harvesting in China. Their updated research concludes that China's hospitals transplant between 60,000 and 100,000 vital human body organs each year. But China has no real organ donation program. Here in the US, with the most sophisticated organ transplant system in the world, a patient can wait up to 3 years for a matching organ to become available. In China, however, the waiting time is measured in weeks. An organ transplant tourist to China, including one from the US, can arrange a specific date for their operation, which effectively means that someone will be killed on their behalf on that date. It's a cultural taboo in China to donate one's organs after death. So what's the source of all these organs? The translation of these facts equates to tens of thousands of prisoners of conscience each year being killed for their organs. Most of these prisoners of conscience are Falun Gong practitioners, but also Tibetans, Uyghurs, and Laos Christians. They're routinely blood tested and their organs examined while held in China's forced labor camps, detention centers, and black jails. A 1984 regulation, ironically, decrees that they and their organs become the property of the state. On June 13th last year, the U.S. House of Representatives unanimously passed Resolution 343, which, quote, condemns the practice of state-sanctioned forced organ harvesting in China, close quote. The European Parliament has also passed similar resolutions. This has been happening for over 16 years. Yet there is still a deathly silence on this issue, and that is why I come to stand before you, the elected and respected representatives of the community to echo the heavy burden of this genocide as acknowledged by the House. China has total control of its own media and beyond. So it comes down to this type of word of mouth to divulge what's happening. Many dedicated researchers have gathered an enormous amount of data from current and archived hospital websites, medical journals, local media reports, and telephone surveys and other evidence for the 860 hospitals in China that perform organ transplants. Some books are now being written and documentaries have been produced with more comprehensive information. So I just left that package for your kind attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that would like to address the board? If not, make a motion to resume rules. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adjourn to executive session to consider the following matters, to wit, confidential communications between the attorney and his client, the town board, based on the attorney-client privilege. So move.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Town board goes into executive session at 8:06 PM.